This video is going to be an introduction to conclusions. Conclusions have only three rather difficult skills on the rubric. The first is to avoid using the phrase in conclusion. If you use that, I will simply cross it out. And don't use any of the phrases that are very similar to it, like in summary, or to sum up, or to wrap up. All of those are just overused, but more than that, they're meaningless. What you're saying is, hey, the paper's almost over. Your reader already knows that. They can see that there's only one paragraph left on the page. So instead, keeping in mind what we've learned about transitions, you want to write a much more specific phrase there related to the situation, which would transition to the conclusion. Another thing the conclusion needs to do is to repeat the thesis, but not to repeat it using the exact words or phrasing. So you want to restate. I always say restate, don't repeat, or rephrase. Use new words and new sentence structure. You can possibly even state your thesis with a little more confidence now that the argument has been made in your paper. And another little tip I give is that you won't include the subpoints in the conclusion if you have a short paper. And everything that we write in Comp 1 and Comp 2 is a short paper. It's just too repetitive to put the subpoints there. You've already put them in the thesis and then in your subpoint paragraphs. It's overly repetitive. When your paper gets a little longer, you can do it. And then the last thing to keep in mind is that I want you to write what I call an A-maker. An A-maker is a little statement at the very end, the last sentence, which provides one new idea related to your thesis. Now, this directly contradicts with probably what you were told in 4th grade, which is don't put any new ideas in the thesis, in the conclusion. And I'm directly contradicting that. I want you to put a new idea here, but it should be something very closely connected to your thesis. It might be something that you didn't say at the beginning, even though you had it in mind, but now that you've made the rest of your argument clear, now you feel more confident and you can say it. So it might be something that's a little bit of a reach or a little bit of a stretch, but is an interesting idea. The main point of the A-maker is to show that you're still thinking, even though the paper's over. Here's a free life hint. Teachers and bosses love it when you think. So this is your main goal, is to show that you're still thinking about the topic and about the thesis, even though you're done writing. It also should encourage the reader to keep thinking about your topic and about your thesis. You propose an interesting thought there that keeps them thinking. A few ideas for what can work is a next step or a guess about the future. Another little bit of evidence, which puts in sort of a shadow additional subpoint. A request for research or an idea for research. In every professional level paper in academics, there's a call at the end for more research or what's next to research. This is the undergraduate version of that. Or some sort of comparison or example from current events or culture. Almost anything can work here, but one new example, which you didn't use earlier, which again could be a little bit more of a stretch or might even be a little bit funny or a little bit frightening, is good for the A-maker. But by the way, I call the A-maker because on one of my first papers in college, I put a sentence like this. Just on a whim, I had an idea I hadn't used, so I put the sentence there. The person who graded it really liked it and circled it and said something like, wow, I forget exactly what the person said. And that was right above my A on the paper, which was written right there in handwriting, because that's how we used to grade papers. And so I just named that sentence the A-maker. And those are the points that I want you to keep in mind regarding conclusion. Thank you.